President Bola Tinubu is calling on Nigerians to join hands with him to ensure that Nigeria once again enjoys peace and stability. He is saying that the president stated this after the Eid al-Adha in Lagos. He said that he's aware of the current economic hardship faced by Nigerians and urged them to have faith that the country's current situation will become favorable. The president emphasized that no religious or ethnic identity should be allowed to deter Nigeria's prosperity. Well, joining us in the studio to discuss more is public affairs analyst Muyiwa Ogunlaja. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Welcome. Thank you.
Now, this statement made by the president has been generating reactions. And he made another statement yesterday when he went to the thank you visit in Ogun State. He saw the Awujale as well as the Alake of Egbaland. And then he also was hosted by Lagos State Governor, where he also made some statement. And he told Nigerians that this time around, it has to be some difficult baby steps, painful baby steps as it is. But what do you make of the fact that the president keeps speaking to these issues for Nigerians to understand and perhaps cooperate with him?
Thank you. Any place where you have free flow of information, you have eliminated the need for what you call yellow journalism,
right,
or unfounded conclusions. If anything hinders good governance, it is inability of the government to communicate with the governed, to the extent that the governed are allowed to interpret issues on their own, not minding the circumstances that are surrounding the decision taking. And I think that mistake is what he has learned from, and is trying to communicate with the people, to let the people know what he's doing and what you have in store for us. It will be deceitful on the part of anybody who wants to govern Nigeria now to believe that they can come in and say full subsidy will remain. If anybody says that that person is about to mortgage the entire nation, and very soon you will have these sales of Nigerians, men, women, and even the country because of the debt burden we are carrying. But that said, it shows that we still have a long way to go in terms of anticipating the real dividends of democracy. Nigerians should believe in what called shortcuts, the easiest way to that matter. We have new government, let us enjoy everything. Let food be there in abundance, let houses be there, let services be improved, let salary go up. We want everything quickly. But this is a constant reminder, is to show that we have to make some sacrifices. We are making some now. We are likely to make more. But the question is that at the end of the tunnel, there is light. And that is the prediction I think the president is trying to do by, at any given opportunity, reminding Nigerians that it won't be as rosy as you think. It's a very long way. It will be covering some areas. It will be stony. But when the time comes, it will be smooth ride to the dividends of democracy. I think it is good preparation.
And in terms of navigating these times, what do you think about the path the federal government is towing? There are talks here and there, calls on the governors, but what do you think should be the case? If it's good so far for the government, how do you want them to take it further, at least to keep to maintain everywhere and to ensure the welfare of Nigerians, basically?
There is this saying in Africa that what is good for the goose is called good for the gander, or it is what is good for the goose is sauce for the gander. That should be
right.
What I want to say is that I agree with the need for all of us to make sacrifice, but the government must equally show that not only the common people should make this sacrifice. The sacrifice should come from the government itself. Number one, the federal government cut down the size of governance. The size of the bureaucracy is too unwieldy. That there are many unneeded hands. And when you have that kind of situation, a lot of spendings, stupid spending, approach it is done. Look at our legislature, for instance. I remember this country at a time when they had problem with the economy, and they were practicing unicameral legislature. Because of the problem with the economy, they turned to unicameral. They abolished one of the houses and stuck to only one house. As a result, they reduced cost of governance. In Nigeria, for now, what we spend on our legislatures is heinous, is criminal. How do we explain an individual going up to about 25 million naira every month when millions of Nigerians cannot get 18,000 naira minimum wage? So I think as Nigerians are being called upon to make sacrifice, government should do the lead. Let government make sacrifice by cutting down the cost of governance. Let our legislators make sacrifice by saying that, please, we want to help this country. Let us be given 50% of our money. The 50%, let's go to the...
But will we ever see that happening?
Well, that is a bit of sacrifice being made. So if Nigerians are ready to do that, you may not believe it. When Nigerians now live below the living standard that is expected, especially with the food price, with the food hike, with the inflationary rise in food items, accommodation, and salary remaining same. Remaining same.
Yes.
So if they can survive this, but it's okay, this is our country, let's do the sacrifice. What stops them from doing same? So that when you have it, so that it cuts across board, nobody's really having an upper hand. But for now, they are having the upper hand, and the masses are suffering. But because of the belief in the government, especially the person who is the president now, Nigerians are just holding on. But let's have this for some time. Maybe it will be better. But if it goes on like this, there will be this turning around. And when it happens, the repercussions might be very, very, very unpleasant.
So how do you think the government should address the matter of the pains Nigerians are feeling? Yes, the president is speaking to the issues, but it is not enough as it stands. You have pointed out some things. In fact, some persons will tell you that they have gotten to the last hole in their belt and they cannot tighten it any further.
Yes.
So how can the government begin to look at cushioning the effect right now as it stands? Because you have pointed it out. Nigerians are not finding it funny.
At all. Yes. The first point I want to make here is that it is not possible for palliatives to come in unless savings have been made. But thank God, savings have been made now. From statistics recently released, the country has been able to save about 400 billion naira from the subsidy removal. So maybe let us wait for another 1 month. So that we have another close to 400 billion. Altogether, we'll be having about 200 billion. If that one is invested into palliatives, the impact will be felt. What are these palliatives? Let's start with the primary school pupils. Let buses be introduced for primary school pupils, which we used to know as scholarly buses. Only for those primary school pupils, and you must be in school uniform to have access to these buses. And what you do, you move from your house to your school using these buses free of charge. That will reduce the burden on parents. You don't have to give your child again that transport fare. That can be used for another thing. Aside from that, let us look at those who are not civil servants, who are not public servants. The problem with governance is that anything they are talking about cushioning the effects, they look at only public servants. They want to buy buses for them. They want to do this for them. They want to increase the salaries. What about those in the non-formal economy? And they are more than the public servants.
Absolutely.
Are you saying that they are not Nigerians? They should not be taken care of? So that government can only look outside the scope of saying provide buses for workers, increase workers' salaries, give workers housing loan. What are you going to give for those who are not in the public service? So they should look into that. And for those ones, we have cooperative societies here and there. Let them be encouraged to form cooperative societies. It could be region by region, it could be street by street, it could be estate by estate, where palliatives are given to them in terms of food items, in terms of clothing, in terms of medicals, and let this palliative get to them. Then provide them with free medical service. Say, by for sure, that anybody who's above 60, and you can prove that you're above 60, any hospital you go to must be attended to and was prompt. For those who are below the line, they are extremely vulnerable, the needies, give them special ID cards. to show that these are government-recognized vulnerable people. Anywhere they go to that ID card, they should be given preference. So when you do this kind of thing, then look at NEPA. Instead of allowing NEPA or what's called discos now to just hike fares unnecessarily, give them necessary wherewithal so they can provide 24 hours supply. I want to say that most Nigerians, if not all, are hardworking. They don't need government employment. Give them light, give them security. They will find for themselves.
Absolutely.
And the country will be better off. So I think government looks at these areas, they will go a long way to cushioning the effects of the rise of the biting inflation on them.
In his message yesterday, the president also had words of appreciation for governors whom he said, had helped to drive home the message that, we all have to walk this difficult but essential path. But then he also called for more of their support, saying he would run an open-door policy and even across party lines. What's your expectation in this regard, in this, as we, continue to navigate these times? What's your expectation in this regard? How well does this message about, open door policy of the president across party lines? And we've been seeing him receiving as much visitors. But what do you make of this, this scenario that is playing out? Is it novel? How healthy is it? How sustainable is it?
It is not totally new in the administration. It's not. But is it sustainable? No. You see, there's what is called time-bound actions. There are some actions that you must take now. And the time that should have been used to take those actions, I think, to me, is being spent on meeting people, coming to pay visits. But he was quick to point that out last week when he said that all those who attended having to see him should forget it for now, that this is time for work. And after this, that should be understood. Then for the governors, not all the governors are actually on the same page with the president. Some governors are lavish spenders. They are Owambe governors. Some governors are just there to take more wives, have more children, and do this and do that. And until the federal government of Nigeria says, anybody coming to serve us as a governor must attend our public general hospitals, children must attend our secondary schools, our universities. If all these ones are put in place, that for you to serve as a governor in Lagos State or a governor in Nigeria, anything that happens to you, go to the general hospital in your town. Your children must attend the schools in this town. This must be done locally. They will all come together to be on the same page and say, okay, if you are busy improving that, let me improve the health sector of my country or in my state. Let me improve the transportation in my state. Let me improve the education in my state. Let the universities in my state be of high quality, standard, with given all the necessary wherewithal. So if you now have this, then there will be development every nook and cranny of the country. But where some governors believe that, well, every Friday I have to go to Jeddah to do the Jumat prayer. Every weekend my children must go to London for weekend visits. Then you cannot be on the same page. For that lavish spending is there. For instance, I like to say that some of these principal officers of the National Assembly appointed some aides, and one other appointed 35 assistants. You're the speaker. Or what do you want to do with 35 assistants? Because you are the speaker of the House of Assembly? What do you want to do with 45 assistants because you are the Senate president? Are you saying that each state must have an assistant that will be reported to you? You must get these things right now. As good as they could be, the conditions in the country, it's not favorable for that. I know many families that would love to have about 5, 6, 7 children, but knowing full well the cost of raising these children up, they stop at 2 or 3. It's not that they cannot function or do very well. So let us look at what is happening in the country and let that be the guiding principle, not what we're able to do. It is when we imbibe these ideas that we say that, yes, all of us are on the same page.
Do we have the political will
to do that?
Yes.
We don't, because we are not ready to. But
how are we not ready to?
Yes.
Aren't we on the path already?
We are on the path already, but it's on the path of called cosmetic arrangement. You see, a mistake was made initially by our colonial masters. They gave us that independence on a platter of gold. We didn't fight for it. If you had fought for independence, and we had shed a lot of blood. And
But we had a civil war.
That's our own internal strife.
Right.
No, that's our own internal strife.
But then we also had freedom fighters at the time.
Freedom fighters that
clamoring
didn't
for
do anything.
independence.
Freedom fighters that were only writing and only making noise. Look at
We
go to
have to
South
shed
Africa.
blood to appreciate
Listen,
what we have.
Go to
for
South
us.
Africa and see the meaning of independence.
Yeah.
Go to Lesotho, see the meaning of having political independence. Even we go to Britain, having political, even America, the meaning of getting political independence. So they said that the moment you are now through, it is so much appreciated that nobody wants to toy with it. Without you being told, you will sit up. Why is it that when you travel to UK or America, you hardly throw bottle beans, soft drink drinks, or wrappers of gala on the way? Without you being told. But when you now come to Nigeria, the moment you finish one gala, bottle water, right from your car to the streets. You see? Because they appreciated the need that they fought for their country, and the country was protecting it. But because we just got it, and when we got it, we were fostered with that authority to control ourselves without getting set for that. As a result, we are complacent. We don't want to do the right thing, and nobody cares. You see? So I think that you call it. But for now that all hands are, whether that we want to turn a new leaf, all hands must be on deck. No stone should be left unturned. All of us must cross the letter T's and dot letter I's. Then we'll say that, yes, we are ready for a new Nigeria. We are ready for the renewed hope of the president. We are ready for a country that loves peace, stability, and progress. We are ready to make Nigeria the country that it should be.
Right. And, of course, the next big step before the president would be the choice of ministers to run with his mandate of renewed hope. Yeah. What are your expectations in this regard? Of course, so much has been said. We are now in the second month, so to speak. He has just finished 1 month in office. We are now entering into the second month, and time is also reading because it's a 60-day mandate that he has to present the names of nominees to the National Assembly. What are your expectations on how we can also, drive this desire further?
Before I answer that question, I want to take all of you back to what the former president recently said about ruling Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, when he said that the hardest thing he had ever done in his life was to be the leader of this country. Because governing Nigeria is a very hard nut to crack. So for someone to now want to put together ministers for this country, I must tell you, it's a hard nut to crack. And I want to say that 60 days actually might not even be enough, but it has to be done. Because Nigerians are funny. You'll be surprised that you would have penciled a name down today. And tomorrow, what you will hear by that person, you want to say, no, I should not be seen with this person. Because our financial system is poor. Because Nigerians always want to pull ourselves down. We want to know that someone has been penciled down. You want to bring out all the skeleton in his cupboard. And nobody will see that and use that kind of a person. You want someone who is utopian. You want someone who is Jesus-like. And it will take time.
Is that a bad thing?
It's not. It's good. Right. That's what I'm explaining why you have about that 30 days and 60 days now. It's good. But I just want the president to come up with men who are professionals, men who are technically sound. Let it be competence, not compensation. Appoint ministers on competence, get me right, not competition.
Can we divorce
that? Competence should not be devoid of the federal character of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Can we divorce compensation from competence?
Yes, you can,
but
if you want to.
Won't it be tough?
And you are talking. It will be tough, but it will be rewarding. It will be rewarding. Additionally became the Minister for Agriculture without any political affiliation. He turned our agriculture around. Okonjo-Iweala became the coordinating Minister for Finance without any political affiliation. She turned the economy around. What are we saying? All those who assisted the past administration in making some remarkable successes were not politicians. I'm not saying that politicians should not be given reward for their labor. Okay. The reward will come in terms of appointment of boards of parastatals, chairmen of boards of parastatals, members of boards of parastatals, members of boards of federal government bodies. Those ones are rewarding. But as for the arrowhead of government, It should be competence. Put someone who knows about aviation in aviation. Put someone who knows about education in education.
Right.
Put someone who's a medical doctor in science, in health. Not that you go and bring a malam and ask him to go and do aviation. What does he know about even can even spell the meaning of an aeroplane?
All right.
What are you saying?
All right.
So that is the point I'm making.
We need to quickly go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. To stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. We still have our guests in the studio, a public affairs analyst, Muyiwa Ogunlaja, speaking to us about the matter of the president seeking Nigeria's cooperation with regards to some of the decisions he has made in recent times. And before we went on the break, we're looking at the aspect of some of the appointments that Nigerians are looking forward to with regard to ministerial positions, who will be getting what portfolio. And you made a statement, you mentioned something about the president bringing a malam to handle something aviation.
That is used metaphorically.
Right.
Because
We needed you to clear the air.
They are very knowledgeable. No, get me right.
Right.
If you're talking about intergovernmental relations, if you're talking about education, yes, malams and junamas are their teachers, extremely knowledgeable. Get me right. That's what I mean there. When I say someone who does not know, who does not have knowledge of the nitty-gritty of the system, for instance, no matter how knowledgeable a history teacher is, you cannot make him the minister for health. When they go to meetings and those doctors start talking, and they're talking about postpartum, postmortem, postclinical, what will you think the doctors will mean? That's what I'm saying.
So square peg, more like
square peg in square holes.
Right.
God bless you.
Okay.
And women must be given adequate position to handle. Most of the ministries who have had success in this country are ministries or agencies headed by women. And what stops them from using them? When they are there, number one, they are very hardworking. They are honest more than women. That's the truth. And they can be driven. So they are ready to. They will not want to equate themselves and say, "I'm a minister. You are the president." No. They listen to instructions and they carry out instructions very well. What about the youth? They must be incorporated. Those days are gone when any minister would be about 70, 80. No. When the young ones are there, vibrant young ones, sound in technology, sound in computer science, sound in the latest administrative procedures. Let us use them. So let it be a combination of young men who are vibrant, who know their honors, women who are ready to serve, and some elderly, not old, elderly, who are ready to put their experience at the disposal of the nation. But I would not love to see someone who is above 70 as minister. Where will he be going into? A minister should be someone who is, when the president comes visiting, he should be on his toes, going. That's what I'm saying. And there are many like that. And aside from that, we have had our own time. Let me put it that way. Let the young ones who are still bubbling with ideas, let them be used. Let our women who have been caged, let them be released. Let them be used. And let us know that there won't be improvement. So if he believes in that, get women, about 40% of the position for women, about almost 30% for the young ones, then the remaining 30% for the colleagues who are not as old as that, who are still very young, agile. Then this country will move. Let it be a mixture of young men, women, and elderly people, experience, they're ready to serve.
And you're optimistic we'll see this representation?
I want to believe that it's taking its time because of this
consideration.
Yes, because I know the wife will not allow him to just bring all men. The wife actually said in one of the foreign offices that more women will participate in this government. And we are looking forward to that. And if that happens, we will have peace. But that is the truth. Most women are not all that long truth as women. They will do the job.
Right.
So I want to believe that. And
there's also the matter of those saying that perhaps this is a time to visit the Orosanye report with regards to cutting cost of governance. Your final word with that, and then we'll wrap up the conversation.
Yes. The Orosanye report came, the committee did a very good job. Orosanye report did a very good job, and the recommendations were there, only for the recommendations to be kept in office drawers. But now, when you pay a visit to that, although it will make government step on so many toes, but it will be a turnaround for governance. to the extent that a lot of misconceptions in the past will be corrected, and those mistakes already highlighted will be worked upon. It is a good step, but I know that it will take doggedness of the president to have that report fully implemented.
Right. And that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Muyiwa Ogunlaja, Public Affairs Analyst, thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.